Well, hello there. It has been 2 years since I uploaded to this channel. Where has the time gone? Anyways, so we're going to be going back to our first HEMA sparring session after said 2 years, and I realized that some of my gear is not quite up to snuff. We have some ongoing projects here, and to try to get it up to snuff, or make some minor improvements in the time we have, we're going to do what could be referred to as kit bashing, but since I have so little time, I'm going to do what I call kit smashing. So I'm going to take scraps that I have laying around the shop, and I'm going to quickly make fairly drastic changes to the existing equipment that I have. So I made this right arm protector a couple years ago. More than a couple. Oh man, it might be 10 at this point. As you can see, it is a fin, which expands my hitbox. I don't know why I gave it a fin. Probably trying to be edgy. Look at all the cool designs, though. Ooh, ooh. But the fin has to go, because it creates an extra target that should not be a target. So, the first thing we're going to do, I'm going to take my trusty X-Acto knife, and I'm actually going to cut all of this off. And then, we're going to use these parts, abandoned parts from a previous project, and we're going to use them to close up the gap with some Chicago screws, or sex bolts, if you are a risque individual. I prefer Chicago screws. So, let's get started on that. Do a quick test fit. As you can see, got about this much that I don't need. So, I'm just going to mark it to about here, and begin cutting. No, it's not the fastest, straightest cut. I do have plans for a much more developed arm guard to be made at a later date. Ooh, look at that. Oh, this stuff is so old. This X-Acto, highly sharpened X-Acto, just sails right through it. My goodness. Okay, perfect. That's done. Now we will just keep cutting straight on through to the other side. I'm going to do a score. Yeah, I should probably just extend this blade a little bit. Okay, so you can see we already have a bit of a score line there. We're just going to keep going right on through. I'm not going to be able to get all the way through this one time, but it will be a good start for what we need to do shortly. Okay, now that score line is set up, retract our danger X-Acto knife back to the slightly less dangerous position, and cut along that score line. It's going to be a little bit violent here. Okay, so that's nice and stiff. This blade is nice and sharpened. That goes right through. The nice thing about vegetand leather, or hardened leather, is, at least for crafting purposes, it is fairly cut resistant up to a point. When it comes to very sharp blades going at a very acute angle with the right amount of pressure, as you can see, it just kind of goes right through. When I was cutting this initially, though, it was significantly more difficult. Okay, so there we go. That is much better. As you can see, significantly reduced hitbox, none of that silly fin business anymore. So what we're going to do now is fit these. Actually, you know what? I'm going to clean up that edge first, just because neuroses. Off-screen tool retrieval noises. We're going to go with a number 2. Number 2, that's not going to focus. We're going to go with a number 2 beveler and just knock that edge off. Whoa. Normally you do this on a braced flat surface, but this thing is rigid enough that it provides some of its own buttressing. Oh, there we go. We can go from the other side and get a slightly better angle. Not the best, cleanest work I've ever done. In fact, not even the closest, but it'll have to do for the limited time we have available to us. Okay, just splay that wide open. Knock off those edges. This is going to be a little bit more difficult, so let's abuse it a little bit. Oh, knock off those edges. Okay. Now, I'm going to do a quick yeah, that should basically be pretty good. That's where we want it. We're going to give ourselves a little bit of space. Chances are we're not going to get hit underneath the arm with this thing, so that's going to be all right. To reattach it, we're going to use these bolts, assuming they come out. No, they're pretty in there. I may have to use other ones. I think I put Loctite in here, so we'll just abandon that for now. Whoop. Get out of here. All right. So, said test fit to about yay. Maybe I could have given myself a little bit more room to work with. Nah, that should be fine. That should be fine, especially underneath the gambeson. Yeah, I'll give it a little room to flex. But in order to get these, we're going to drill. Let's see, do a quick test fit. There we go. That seems to be the right bit size. And we are working with a, what do we got here? 3/16 bit. Okay, so I'm just going to quickly ream these all out to make sure they are to size. Okay, then we're going to do one here. Yeah, right about there. The nice thing about this type of leather is that you can really just drill right through it. All right, see, look at that. Okay, now we can take one of our test bolts here. Does that go through? Just makes it out. It's a little difficult to get out, but that's okay. We've got some fancy multi-tool tools here. Alright, so I'm going to do that on this side. This should be just underneath the thickness, or just, yeah, the clearance is just underneath the length of the post. What that's going to do is apply pressure on one side, and then it's going to let us screw in from the other side and apply a little bit of tension onto the fitting itself. Okay, so let's screw this up. Okay. Perfect. A little bit of tension, and now it is spinning on the other side. Okay, so we got that one. How much clearance can we get on this side? Looks like about yay. Now, normally I wouldn't say start drilling unless you have a little bit more safety precautions going on, but we are going to do a we're going to set up the drill hole, we're going to move our precious digits out of the way, and then we're going to push through gradually. Okay, got that right through. We'll ream it out a little bit. Grab ourselves some more bolts. I think I might just have just enough for this thing. My goodness. How fortunate. Shove it through this side. Shove it through this side. Might have to ream that out a little from the other side to get rid of that. There we go. Okay, shove it through that side, shove it through this side. This side, okay, perfect. And then thread that in there. Okay, you can hear the threads engage, such as here. Oh, can't really see. Maybe I should raise the camera a little bit. Okay, there we go. Okay, you can see the threads engaged now. Just gonna give it a little twist there. Gonna use our screwdriver to really send that home. Hopefully I didn't mess myself up by removing too much material, but I guess we'll find out next time and we'll have to improvise something a little bit bigger and better. Okay, yeah, that is a good test fit there. I think we're golden. Now this may be a rush job, but that doesn't mean we can't make things matchy-matchy line up. Space them about evenly on there. Yep, looks good to me. Okay, nice little press. Mark. Okay, right there. Press hard with the thumbs. Okay, established our drill location. I'm just going to kind of pulse it. Don't want the material to get caught in the drill and torque it out of our hands, possibly sending our fingers into the spinning blade. Perfect. Okay, ream that out a little bit. Tear off on the other side, perfect. Okay. Oop. Okay, matchy-matchy. Shove that through there. Shove that through there. Oh, you know what? I'm going to make my life easier and push it through the other side so that I have access to the threading and I don't have to finagle it. Come on. Come on. There we go. Okay, ream this out a little bit. I may have to use another tool. Okay, see, this is a tapered maul, so we're just going to push this in from the back and give ourselves a little more wiggle room to work with. Beautiful. Okay, engage the threads. I realize the sound quality on this is probably not going to be the best, but that's okay. It is, after all, the first video in a long time, and things will only improve going forward, I'm sure. Okay, got there. Mount that on this side. Okay. All right, establish that. Okay. Push this back through here. Good, clear. Use this to expand this hole just a tiny little bit. Okay. Do we have... Perfect. Good, good. Okay, almost fully engaged. Perfect. Okay, I'll put the last one up here. Just enough clearance for it. Yeah, there we go. Ooh. That wasn't great. That walked a little bit. Okay, let's try to set that back up. This might be janky, but we still try to make it somewhat presentable. Okay, ream that out. Ooh, this one might give us a little bit of trouble here. Okay. Give that a little more love there. Okay, perfect. There we go. Spread that out a little bit. Beauty. Okay, perfect. Hopefully we don't lose any screws tonight. Yeah. I think that's somewhat at risk. Alright, let's try a different approach. I think this one... Which ones of these? This one? No, there was tension on that one. What do we got for this one? Oh, that one's not even... Okay, that one's got tension. This one have tension? Questionable. Okay, let's try something else. Okay, for these two, we're going to use a technique that might be slightly a little bit ill-advised, but it'll provide us with some extra extra assurance. Okay, so we're going to use slightly oversized threaded posts, or threads, with an undersized post. So this is just only going to clear the main piece. It's going to only clear half of this hole, but that's okay because we are going to use the tension of the threads, the fact that we can over tighten it slightly to compensate for the lack of length in the post. Okay, perfect. Pull this one out of here. Pop that through. Perfect. Push that there. Use the over-length post. Actually, should I even use an over-length post? Maybe I should just use a regular size post. Yeah, it might even be better to use a regular length post for these instead of an over-length. Yeah, I think it is. Okay. Let us revise this one. Get out of there. Yeah, because it will engage and it'll compress more. There we go. Oh, perfect. Yeah, I can really feel it pushing down on that. So much less danger of the threads coming undone from vibration, which has happened in the past. Okay, got the right one here, got the right one here. Perfect. Just tighten that right up. Yes, I can feel the tension. Excellent. Okay, so final one. Just going to set that here so it's just clear. And watch your fingers. Not going all the way through. I do not want to stab myself. That would be bad. Okay, and ream that out a little. We're going to use again an undersized post. Slightly undersized. It won't clear all the way through. Yeah, you do normally want to have a little bit of tension on these things so that they stay in place. I recommend using Loctite most of the time, but that might take a little bit too long to set given our short time frame. Alrighty. Okay, is that going to go through? There we go. Perfect. Ooh. That's a little thicker here. Should I use... Yeah, I'm going to use the correct length post for this one. Just push that back out. Whoop. Butterfingers over here. Okay, yeah. So, use this to expand that just a tiny little bit. Beautiful. Yeah, you can see. I don't know if you can see. Doesn't quite clear, and that is good for us because it's going to allow it to apply continuous tension on it, or compression rather, not tension. Okay, that is our kit smash. Revised arm guard. I think that will do just fine. Get rid of that silly fin so we won't get whacked in the arm as much or false hits. Okay, so that is taken care of. I already did a little work on this one. This is a 1/3 gauntlet. So it's got a flappy section here that'll let you go up underneath a basket hilt, but it self-protects the thumb. It was a little stiff in the wrist, so I decided to slit it here. I don't think it'll cause me any problems, and I believe it gave me full range of motion, which is what I was looking for. Okay, so that's taken care of. On to the next thing. Need a little bit more front knee protection. Move this stuff off to the side. So this is an experiment that I cupped about a year and some ago. No, more than that. Anyways, I tried to make a compound curve in leather. Mixed results. I got a little bit of a compound curve, but I think I could do better in the future. But it will serve our purposes. So I've gotten whacked a couple times on the side of the knee because this thing here doesn't really cover the side. I believe this is some kind of baseball or hockey equipment. I'm not sure. A lot of HEMA equipment is improvised, and this is no exception. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to just slap this on here, and I'm going to tack it down with a couple stitches. So I'm going to see if I can go in from the other side to mark it. That's going to be dubious. How am I going to attach this? You know what? I may just have to go through this part right here. It's not going to be pretty, but that's okay. It doesn't need to be pretty. You're pretty enough on your own. Don't let anyone tell you otherwise. Okay, so we're going to do a simple tack on here at 3 places. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. I need to be able to access this. So really we're just going to do, I think, 4 or 5 up here. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, let's do 6, just for funsies. 6. Okay, and what that does is we marked, you can't really see it, but I marked the inside of here. So now we're going to use a smaller drill in our friendly Makita over here to just drill right through that, and we're going to use 1.2 millimeter thread, which would be plenty to hold this on. Actually, you know what? While we're here, I may as well knock off the edges on this thing, just for fun. It's probably a good idea, because it might get caught on something otherwise. It's not the most stable surface I've ever used, but it shouldn't matter because this thing is fairly rigid just on its own. Probably not going to get in this little nook here. Maybe. Yeah, compound or convex curves are not this thing's forte. Okay, I think that's all the outside. Let's do the, or inside rather. Let's do the outside. Whoop. Get this out of the way. This might be the best we can hope for at this point. Okay, so, I don't know if you can see them, but there are 3 little holes there. We're going to take a small drill, and we're just going to drill right through those. This is a 1/16. I know it's not going to focus for me, because I want it to. Alright, let's get drilling. That's pretty easy, because we're just trying to power through this material. And we'll correct it a little and make sure they're kind of lined up. Is it going to look pretty on the other side? Not so bad. Okay. Right, we're going to use some thread now. I removed the little label, but this is actually 1.2 mil thread. So, I'm going to take some of this. Now the rule for this stuff is you want to do 4 times the length of the stitch for a saddle stitch. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and then let's do another couple so that we have lots of thread to work with. Pull out our handy dandy scissors here. And a little snipperoo. So, we put a needle on either end of this. To try to hold this in place, I think I'm going to use a clamp. It's just a matter of lining it up through this little pad here. Okay. Okay, so that's one. Just to make it even, I'll grab another one. Beauty. Funny thing is, I've been meaning to make these modifications for ages and ages, but never really found the motivation. Funny how a time crunch can get your butt in gear sometimes. Yeah, I know it's not going to be the prettiest thing anybody's ever seen, but it will do the trick, I think. I know, professional crafters will think my workspace is pretty messy, but that is okay. I am not, as of yet, a professional crafter, so you'll be able to forgive me, I'm sure. Ooh. Need a slightly more angled cut on there to get that thread through. Beautiful. I believe this is a double thread lock. Okay, now we're just going to push this right through. Actually, I think I'm going to backstitch. I'm only going to backstitch one time on each side, because I may not have enough thread otherwise, because this is thick. I may have overestimated or underestimated the amount of thread I need. Our handy-dandy multi-tool here turns into a pair of pliers, so we can pull the thread through. Very nice, very nice. Okay. Oh yeah, I think I way underestimated the amount of thread I'm going to need. This might end up being more than one piece of thread. Yeah, I don't think I'm going to backstitch this at all, or I'm going to overstitch this. Backstitch this rather at all. It'll just have to be the simple stitch, and that's okay, because we can improve upon it in the future. Really, this stuff is so beefy that it'll hold on regardless, so I'm not worried. This is just a matter of getting it done. Once watched a video, recently I watched a video by an engineering project manager, and he was saying the most important thing for getting your personal projects done is not necessarily the cost, not necessarily the... Ooh, don't want that. You can't optimize for cost when you have a one-off, and when you're not purchasing a whole ton of stuff. The importance is just, for the most part, getting it done. If you want to refine it later to make it all nice and pretty, that can be done, but this is really just, like I said, not a kit bash, a kit smash. Really just smashing these pieces together until they stick and they are functional, because I don't want to get a knee injury. That is no fun. Hopefully I'm not talking too close to the mic. I may very well be. And if you think I'm rambling, well, that's okay, because this is really the first time I'm doing one of these, and I have no idea. I imagine this video is going to turn out terribly, but, you know, when you want to do something, you want to finish something, you have to start that thing. And that is what I'm doing right now. I'm starting the thing. Come on, get out of there. There we go. A little lever action to get that through. Oh, I totally could have backstitched. Ah, whatever. Maybe I will just do a halfway backstitch. I'll do one backstitch before I close this up. Just because I said I would do a backstitch. I probably should, even if I seal the end. You know what? I think I might have enough to do 2. Ooh, maybe that's pushing it, actually. We'll see momentarily. Can I even get this back through? Yeah, I can. Yeah. Come on. I believe in you. Oh, I hope I don't break off the thingy. Am I going to have to... Yeah, you should really be pulling straight through. Yeah, that's what I thought might happen. Okay, so we're only going to get 1 backstitch. Actually, you know what? If I give this a quick cut and reattach the needle, unless I busted the needle. I didn't bust the needle. Excellent. Give you a little snippy-doo. Not that I think this is in danger of coming out, but it'll just make it all the more durable. Okay. This is silly. Okay, I'm not going to bother with a double thread lock because I only need this to go through 1 time. Okay, switch from scissors back to pliers. Lock that in place. Push through that way. Okay. And let's see if we can get this to come out the other side. It's going to be iffy. Yeah, I might not be able to. That's okay. Oh, yes, perfect. Beautiful. Okay. Get rid of these little thingies now. Those don't need to be there. And we're going to use... Just going to try to pull it right through. Okay, got it through, but I destroyed the thread, which is okay. Normally that's why you want to give yourself a lot of thread to work with at the end, because if that ever happens, the thread is the weakest part. So you can put tension on the needle, but the thread will break at the needle if you put too much stress on it. Oh, did I want to do this the other way? Whatever, that should be fine. Excuse me. Yeah, I think that'll do just fine. Well, thank you for joining me on this exciting adventure. Hopefully you had as much fun as I did. And it's nice actually getting some of these projects that I've been meaning to do for literally years done. Anyways, you guys have a great night. And bye-bye.